Good morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Phew, the intro always gets me ready to roll for the Fridays, man. Gosh darn it.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
I did the wrong I did the wrong countdown. It's literally says stop using next to that
Oh, really?
countdown.
Who-
And I didn't see it. So
So,
whoever said stop using that one, my bad.
what happens? Who's in charge of reprimands in the Appliance Alliance?
There's we publicly
Oh,
flog
okay.
the evildoer live
I'll take that
on Facebook.
soundtrack for every task I have to do at work. I need a 1.5 minute countdown before I talk to an employee or an upset
Yeah,
customer. I need that thing right there.
yeah. You
Yeah.
gather your thoughts. You get yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I'm like, oh, all right, here we go.
Did you
Can
ever
you hang
play?
on and listen to this music for just a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Did you ever play GoldenEye, the video game 007 on the Nintendo 64?
Oh, wow. That's a
That
long
mu
time ago.
Yeah, that music reminds. That's what that music reminds me of is GoldenEye for the N64. Like you're going around with your little PP7 and shooting the bad guys.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a
Well,
lot of
happy.
bad guys at work.
Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. We made it. We're here. And hopefully everybody's got some awesome plans this weekend or doing something fun. Hopefully you're not working. That doesn't sound fun at all. But it's Freestyle Friday. We got Mike Carson and Doug Shear with us this morning. And it's Freestyle Friday, so it's really whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about it, we want to talk about it. We
Is
got
it
Pinfish.
Freestyle Friday where we can ask questions of the community as well? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Because it came to my thought before I logged in, and then you just brought it up. How many guys out there who have like one or two or more employee technicians do you guys run Saturday calls? Or do you just shut down Monday through Friday? That's what I'm kind of curious about.
Well,
So
what do
please let
y'all do at Action?
um, a small crew, maybe just three out of the normal 17, and it's like a 4 week rotation. And we try to do like 5 hours, maybe 6 calls only. Um, it does it's integral to our budget, but it might be something worth getting rid of, right? And letting the employees come home and rest for 2 days. But I'm old, remember? So it used to be every other Saturday and on call weeks as well, where you'd have to go back out and do emergency on calls. But we don't do that anymore either. So, you know,
Yeah. Morning, Rob. I I don't work Saturdays. We don't run service on Saturdays. And the reason is I don't want to start something and ask my team to do something that I'm not willing to do.
mm,
I'm not giving up my Saturday. And God forbid I start doing it and get customers used to it and then those guys that want to work Saturdays either leave or aren't with us anymore or whatever. And then I have these customers that are used to getting Saturday service and I have to deal with explaining to them why we no longer offer that. So I just everybody needs their time off. You get 2 days off. There's no Saturday work and it is what it is.
yeah. So very different times from just 10, 15 years ago. But you have to be adaptable and roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Plus,
For
plus
me,
you can't fix an appliance on a first trip as often as you used to. So to have an emergency on call or even a Saturday call where it might cost a little more to go out, and you can't get that first time complete because you don't know which type of Whirlpool washer it is, right? Direct drive, vertical mount, Cabrio version 3. It's getting a little harder to hit that first time complete, in my opinion.
You could use those as the exception to the rule, you know, if you have to.
Yeah.
morning, Dave. Morning, EJ. Got some people checking in. Kyle, good morning, brother.
Hey,
Doug,
thanks.
Kyle
Who's
said
that?
you're too cool for school.
Man, it is good
You
to pay
really,
for funds. Yeah, I pay
you
Kyle
really
monthly now.
are.
He's
And
on my
EJ says
payroll.
we're dangerously low on beards today.
Morning, Adam. Morning, Andrew. Nice to see you, buddy. Dave Harrison said, I don't do Saturdays unless there's an overflow, which lately there has been, or there has.
Mm.
Good morning, Facebook user. Go ahead and click that link. Doug, you wanna fire us off one of those beautiful prayers of yours?
Oh man, God, you are so awesome, and your love for us is set at a bar that no one can meet. And so every day we have to wake up humbly. We have to wake up humbly knowing that our best is something that you will accept because of your grace. So, God, continue to show us how to love our neighbor, how to care for our employees, care for our customers. Help us with balance, Lord. We talk about Saturdays and working and the way it used to be. And um, God, you need to be a part of those decisions. And we just pray that you guide us and that you help us have a balance in our lives. Help us as business owners and technicians make sure that we're balancing our time with our spouse to love our wives and husbands and to care for our children and invest into their future and make wonderful memories and then juggle get making a living and paying the bills. So God, you need to be in our Google calendars, Lord, and you need to guide us and show us the way. And we thank you for that, Lord. We thank you for your love, and we thank you for the Appliance Alliance. We pray all this in Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I was talking to Doug the other day, and we chatted a little bit about this. But I've been around the recovery community for quite some time, and I heard people pray the Serenity Prayer in AA and NA and things like that. But for some reason, the Serenity Prayer has really been um, on my heart lately. Like I've been praying it a lot. It's been on my mind, and not just praying it, vainly, repetitiously, like with no meaning, but really asking God to help me with that. And it's really been helpful, to be honest with you, because um, the way I look at it is I do need God's help to accept the things I can't change, and not only accept them, but don't leave them at the cross, if you will. I know that's kind of cliche to say, but leave them to God, because I found myself spending so much time worrying and fretting about stuff that I have absolutely no control over. So I've been praying that prayer a lot and just having it on my heart for God to give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's a simple
Mm,
prayer, but a powerful prayer.
yeah.
Good morning,
It free
Cruz.
it frees you up, right? Because it's just this burden that sits on our shoulders, things that we can't control. It's easy for some. Like I thought it was easy for you, TK, and you might be extra critical of yourself, but I have a hard time seeing you beating yourself up about a decision that you can't control. But the faster you can move on from it, the better your life's going to be, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and when it comes to things of importance in my life, I'm a very reactionary. I react instead of taking the time to process things often. When I'm hit with bad news or an issue or whatever, I have a tendency to react instead of taking it in, reflecting on it, and then actually, trying to deal with it in a positive way. A lot of times I just, if you wanna hear about it, you can call my secretary and ask her because she probably hears me more than anything. But one thing that I've done, and I think it's important for business owners to do, is to set up lines of defense.
Mhm.
So, like I told my secretary, I said, if there's an issue, don't call me with it. Send it in Telegram. Because what this does is it gives me the time to take it in, process it, and then get back to her.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's on the phone and she's like, "Hey, Mr. Johnson called back. His fridge still isn't cool," and I'm like, "Mother," you know what I'm saying? And then and you have to think your word. I truly believe, and I'm sure you guys are on the same page. Words have power. The things you
Yeah.
speak out of your mouth have power.
Yep.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue, as the proverbs say. And I want to be speaking life, but I want that time to not react and to process what's said and process different things. And it's something I struggle with. And I was reading in the proverb this morning about it. I can't remember the exact verse, but it was talking exactly about that. How a foolish person just reacts. A foolish person just hears something and then reacts. But we got some
Yeah.
questions rolling in, boys. Shout out to Kyle. They got $5 for the plug.
Yeah, well, I need that. And by the way, Kyle is for hire. If you need words of encouragement, whether you've done well or not, he will say something. And he's got this gift that he means it, even though I'm paying him. So Kyle, I think you're going to get a few more customers and a nice side business going on because you're a good
Yeah, a little
encourager.
side hustle.
Little side hustle.
Andrew Soper says, "What's the importance to having highest quality tool?"
That's what she said.
Um,
Sorry.
I think, I mean, for me, like I have tools in my bag that I've had for 10 years now that came from Harbor Freight, and they're still working fine. And I have tools in my bag, like my Bosch impact and drill set. Love it. If it broke tomorrow, I'd go buy another one. Um, so I think there's certain tools you absolutely need to get the best, and I think there's certain tools. I bought them from Harbor Freight. They're still working great today, and um, I should probably start upgrading some of my tools, but it's one of those things that I haven't really focused on.
Just to throw it on the other side, I was on the road for like 28 years, and I never bought high quality tools because they'd be gifts for customers that I left the house for, and then I'd be kicking myself. And I am the guy, the needle nose guy as well. So I've been known not to have all the necessary tools, but I was able to have a pretty successful career and only be slightly frustrated with mediocre tools or a lack of them. But I don't
Yeah, didn't
think
you tell me? You told me once your tool bag consisted of duct tape, needle nose, and zip ties, right?
no, never said that. But thanks for putting words in my mouth. No, how about like for years now on a pro talk page or Appliance Alliance, hey, you guys using steamers? And then all of a sudden I see $250 steamers and this brand, that brand. It was Walgreens, man, 1995. I'd abuse the crap out of it. I'd tip it upside down so it shoots steamy hot water and melt that ice instead of steaming it ice. And then, like about 6 months into it, it craps out.
Done.
I wonder what happened. Yeah. So you go to Walgreens and you pick up a new one and for $20 and there you go. You just keep on going, And then one time I bought one for 60 and the damn knob broke off. So I'm like, well, there you go. So I don't know why people pay a ton for some of these things that I think are considered disposable, but
Yeah, I've gone through more steamers than I'd like to admit. The only one that has survived the test of time is the McCulloch. I've had the McCulloch for I think 3.5, 4 years now. Takes a licking, keeps on ticking.
or how about the air sled, right? I can't remember the price of them. There might be like $600 for an air sled. Now there's another company out there that's making them for half price. So I have the expensive one and the cheap one. And now I'm curious. I'm waiting for this scientific experiment to see how long they last. But I'd love to pay half price for my tools, to be honest with you.
Yeah, my air sled was recovered from a dumpster behind
Nice.
the GE back in the 80s by my partner's dad. It's old school, got an old metal toggle switch on it.
Yeah. We got one of those too. Yeah.
And that thing the pads weren't with it, just the motor. And it's reversible. You can do the vacuum on one end, the air sled on the other.
Yep.
And I think that's a testimony to air sled's quality. I mean, that thing was built in the 1980s, and I
Yep.
don't, other than the newer versions being variable speed, um, I don't believe much has changed as far as quality. I think air sled is the top notch in my opinion.
They had their heyday, and then they kind of lost. Like they just kind of lost buzz. There wasn't a lot of advertising. Somebody bought Air Sled. We met him at ASTI 3 years ago or last year, and he bought the company. Yeah, and he brought it back,
Nice
and
guy.
it's an important tool.
Well, I talked to him, and he actually was involved with air sled way back in the day.
Originally,
And
okay, got it.
And then he left, and that's when things, I guess, slid down, and they started struggling. So that's when he came back in, and he bought the company back out.
With all the Vikings and the heavy stacked laundry units now, everyone's got to have an air sled now, or one of these types of equipment. So
yeah, he's got some new stuff coming out. He was telling me about that sounds pretty cool.
Does you can add it to the all dolly range?
Yeah.
Why am I struggling? Oven cart. He's got accessories to it and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Rob Jones says he ran Saturday calls for 20 plus years every week. Switched to 5 days and productivity increased. Guys were able to rest and clear the head. Monday they went on fire. Here's my thing with all of that, and I apologize. The sun is glaring in my face right now. Here's my opinion. Go ahead, buddy. In the world of service work, you can very easily burn out. So you can go out there, you can work 7 days a week, 10 calls, 12 calls a day. But for me, if I did that, and this is personal opinion, this isn't cookie cutter for everybody. If I went out there and did that, I would be absolutely miserable. So what's more important to you? Quality of life, quality of service call, quality of time spent in the home, or just bang, 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 get it done as much as possible, make as much money as you can. For me, I am more productive. I feel like, and I think the numbers are true. I am more productive, and my numbers look better when I'm running 6 calls a day, 4 or 5 days a week. I cut back to 4 days a week recently, and I have an office day, which has transformed into working on the store for the past few weeks. But I don't understand. I don't understand the mindset of overworking yourself or your people just to chase a buck. It's not good for your.
When we're young,
good.
That's our mindset because we haven't figured it out, right? So it seems like once you get our age, that's when, we've figured it out and we've learned what's important and where our time needs to be spent to be the most productive and happy.
And I've said this before too. If you're a young entrepreneur, young business owner, it's just you and you want to run Saturdays, you can run Saturdays. But just know, once that baby comes or them babies come and you want to start taking off Saturdays, Miss Johnson is going to remember 5 years ago when you came out on a Saturday. And she's going to want to know, oh, why don't you run Saturdays anymore? Never run Saturdays, you don't have to worry about it.
I'll tell you something, though. And I don't know Andrew Soper's story exactly. And I take everything he says for fact, which is the right thing to do. I believe, and just kind of watching Andrew in some of those Alex Thursday night meetings, that Andrew, when he worked for someone else, treated it like it was his own business. And when you begin to try to duplicate and multiply your TKs over at your place, to get them to think like you would TK, right? To make sure that when they go in the house, they're giving the most value they possibly can, looking around, seeing if there's any other ways that you can help them while you're in the house. You realize when you're there for the dryer and then you go and you fix like the light in the refrigerator, often they're more excited that their refrigerator light actually works and they can see their milk and butter. They're so amped about that. And when you fix that for an extra $50, it's a win-win-win for everybody. You're upping your ticket, not to up the ticket. You're upping the ticket because you went and you looked around and you made a customer for life. When you try to multiply your TKs, it gets a little harder for them. And if they're not maximizing their Monday through Friday, you might need a Saturday to make up for it. But the trick is how do you get everyone to drink the Kool-Aid, right, TK? Right, Mike?
Yeah, well, I love what Andrew said right there. I love my career, but I work to live, not live to work.
That's right.
You know, your job cannot it just take over your entire life. There's more to life than working. There's more to life than business. There's more to life. I mean, I look at some people that are quote unquote successful, and all they do is work, and it's like that's not success in my eyes. Like that's, what about your family? What about your friends? What about hobbies? What about, you know, helping people and doing other stuff? Like that's not happiness to me or success to me.
What are they going to say at your funeral? He was a hardworking dude. Didn't have time for nothing, none of us, but he worked hard,
Yeah.
All right, I'm trying not to miss any comments here.
That's how it was back in the day, Rob, for sure. No doubt about it. That was the normal. So we have a healthier normal for sure. We just don't have any appliance guys available on a Saturday anymore or a Sunday, but it is what it is.
There's a shameless plug for you, Mike.
Oh, look at that, Mike. You've caused all these problems for EJ by making his phone ring too much.
I can take it all away, EJ.
Just say the word, he'll shut you down.
Solve those problems.
That's funny.
One of those things. Be careful what you ask for, right? You just might get it.
Al said, I do.
Go ahead.
I believe it's important to have the right tools, but not always expensive. I prefer the expensive high-end stuff, but that's me. I have a pair of Knipex channels, and everyone talks crap that I spent $70. It's the best set of pliers I have ever gotten. I swear, so quality does matter.
Kyle, that
I've
totally
never
sounds
tried the Knipex.
That sounds more like a therapist question. You need to ask your therapist why you paid $70 for a pair of pliers.
When I used to be a collision technician. So I'd go to all these shops and work at all these shops, and I see all these beautiful Snap-on toolboxes, just loaded, people paying 10 grand for their setup. And here I was with the cheap stuff. I was younger, just starting out, and I always envied those guys. But I'll tell you what, once I really got into it and got a few years in, I started realizing, you know what, I'm going to buy that cheap stuff and I'm still going to get the same paycheck as they got.
Yeah.
And I'm spending a whole lot less, and I'm not paying that Snap-on bill every month, because they had to take loans out on their tools and I didn't. And I made a rule. If I bought like a cheaper or mid-grade tool, that's what I went ahead and did. And if it broke twice and it was that important to me, then I would go high end. And I'll tell you right now, I've been out of that industry for about a little over 15 years now. And I spent a good 20 in that industry at least. And I still have those same cheap tools in my toolbox that I bought when I was just starting out, and they still work just fine.
Yeah, no, I think like you, Mike. Of course, there are some guys that get really excited about a great, high quality tool, and that's fueling their passion. So it's part hobby, part reality, and we can argue that
Yeah.
one to death, right?
Well, we all like shiny new things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I I'll give a shameless plug while we're talking about quality stuff. Recently started wearing the 511 tactical pants, cargo pants. Have you guys ever had a pair of those?
They're that kind of spandexy breathing.
I don't know if they're spandexy, but man, let me tell you, I had never worn expensive pants before, but I got mine at the Goodwill, so I didn't pay high prices for them. But these pants are amazing. If you are looking for high quality, top of the line work pants, they're tactical pants. I like pockets. I call them my purse pants because anybody that knows me knows I carry a lot of stuff in my pockets. Um, and if you're looking for a high quality, nice work pair of work pants, check out 511 tactical pants. They are absolutely amazing. I got 5 pairs of them. 4 of them don't fit me properly, so I suck my gut in real tight, and I button them and zip them up, and then I clench my belt tight enough, and then I unbutton the top button and I rock with it.
All
But
right,
there was
TK,
the,
block
there
your
were
block
six.
your block your ears. Everyone, for Christmas, I'm gonna get TK's waist size and inseam, and we're gonna buy him some pants, brand new ones, 511s. It'll be
Hey,
your best Christmas gift ever, right?
yeah, $6 at Goodwill, man. I couldn't pass it up, even though they were a size too small.
Somebody else's junk was in there. I really can't wear someone else's pants. I'm
Yeah.
feeling nauseous right
I'm,
here in my
I
throat,
think
right here.
I think I washed them before
I hope so, TK. At
I
the
think I
very
washed
least,
them before
5
I wore 'em.
times. Wash them 5 times,
I
please.
could see him at Goodwill picking them off the rack. Oh, these look good.
Yeah, I lift them up,
Lifting 'em.
give them a little sniff. Ah, they smell all right.
Oh gosh, I got to call in sick today. I have a lot of sick time. Now I'm grossed
The
out.
only brand new clothes that I actually wear is my work shirts and my Appliance Alliance shirts. That's basically it.
That's because you can't find those at the Goodwill. Eventually, when you can
Exact-
find Appliance Alliance shirts at the Goodwill, you guys have made it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
It
He's
is.
gonna go there and plant them.
It's 8:20 in the morning,
Oh,
and it is
that's a good idea.
crazy hot.
That's a great marketing, Mike. Always marketing. You guys should be putting Appliance Alliance shirts all through the Goodwill stores, just so people can get your name.
Yeah, that's actually a great marketing ploy. I like this
Yeah.
comment. Andrew said, "All you Harbor Freight bandwagons buy High Point." I do have a High Point 9mm. It was my first gun that I ever owned, many years ago, and I just never got rid of it. So yes, I have a High Point, but I also have a Kimber Micro 9. So
They get the job done either way.
yeah. Well, and the good thing about the High Point is if you run out of bullets, you can always use it as a club because it's so heavy. You could use it as a projectile
You can throw it.
object and just beam it at them in their head.
Oh,
What's your
this
guys'
conversation
thoughts on
turned
running?
dark.
What's your guys' thoughts on running an office out of your home versus leasing a space?
But do you ever have
Go
a
ahead, guys.
concern? Do you ever have a concern about your house being the Google map listing? I don't know. Is it? What do you think about that, Mike? I mean, a leased space is pretty cheap nowadays, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can get them for about $250 a month. So,
Yep.
I mean, if you're in a very large metro area, why not have a 2 or 3 of them suckers around,
Yeah.
and own the map pack?
Yep.
I I don't really have a huge preference. If you live outside of your major metro area and your metro area is your target and you live outside that big city, say, 20, 30 minutes out, then I'd say definitely, absolutely get an office space, get an address in that city, in your target market where it's going to matter more. And then, I mean, you can have two listings, one for your home and one for that other address.
Right.
But, I mean, obviously it's more ideal the less you have to drive, right?
Right.
If you can concentrate all your business in your quick driving area, you can service your customers better. But if the volume's just not there and you got to go out into that bigger city, absolutely get an office.
Mm.
I mean, EJ just got his third office recently right outside of Lexington in another smaller town that has a little more of his target market, and he just did that maybe a month ago.
It's a broad question because what is your office doing? Are you receiving, every customer part into your place, or are you direct shipping to the customer? Yeah, do you have training sessions with your technicians? It really depends on what you're using that space for.
You could use it as a hub to store, extra parts, and when you're out in that area, now you don't have to drive all the way back to your house to get it. You got an office there that could have that stuff, and you could just go there and make it a little quicker for you.
I guess it comes down to where you're planning to bring your business to in the future. Ultimately, you should probably have some sort of business commercial spot for the Google side of business as well. But if you want to implement a new idea, can you implement that new idea or process in your house? Again, do you want, like, if you only have one tech and he comes to your house and it's not a big deal, but you grow to 3 techs, do you really want to have 3 techs rolling in your residential driveway? But ultimately, I think unless you're planning to stay a one-man show, I think you should probably start leaning towards thinking big picture.
You don't need anything big. You just need something 2-3 people can fit in for now, and you're not going to have people visiting your office. I mean, let's face it. That is an extremely rare occurrence that someone would actually show up there. Yeah. And so you put a sign on the door that says by appointment only, and it solves that problem.
We've had a couple upset customers who wanted their money back or something, and we had a discussion and it wasn't good enough, or we agreed to once you send us the part back, we'll give you your full refund. And they're like, no, I'm going to drive there right now. So that would have been weird if that was my house, to have some customer who we're not completely resolved on the issue rolling up and know where I live, so.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to, for your home, you could always set that listing as a service area or, service area business, which would hide your address, which is technically what Google would prefer you to do. But having a physical address is just a little more effective on it. Yeah, it strengthens it a little bit more as a local business.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed having my office. We don't really use it as much as we did when we first got it, but we rent the basement of our office, and that's like parts headquarters. That's where all the parts get received, organized. We've spent a lot of time and energy on organizing that parts area to make it run smoothly, and it's been quite a journey. But I like having the office, even if most areas. I don't know if this is across the country, but like in my area, I rent my little tiny office for $200 a month. It's really, really cheap. So.
Yeah, you can get them cheap.
I mean, is the tax? I'm not a big tax person. Is the taxes really hugely beneficial to have can you write off most of your house or half your house mortgage payment or something?
Not most
I,
of it. You can write off like a certain percentage depending on where you're depending on your state's
Oh,
rules, but you can write off a certain percentage of it. And
yeah.
then
yeah.
obviously if you're doing painting and you got to do the floors for your office, that's all 100%.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There's
That's a
different
benefit.
ways you could work it,
Yeah.
but
That's the American dream. You got to figure out how to work around the tax system of the federal government.
oh yeah, I
Oh,
mean there's loopholes for everything,
yep.
and they're built there for a reason. So don't feel bad about using them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something
Yeah.
humble about starting out of your house, right? You build a team, like EJ just said this, but in 5 years when EJ's like a Glenn Donnelly and he's got like a glass skyscraper running his corporate office, and Terry and Mike are still there, they can go, remember when we used to, sit in your garage? So there'll be that Apple,
Yeah, they
Microsoft storyline that EJ will be able to share
yeah
once he's in his
started
mansion.
in their
Yeah.
garages.
Yeah,
It'll be
yeah,
like that picture of I'm drawing a blank on his name. Bezos, the Amazon guy, where he's sitting
yeah.
in that little office with the like handwritten Amazon on the
Yeah, that's
wall.
Yep.
yeah.
That'll
Look,
that'll
we
be
can all.
EJ. He'll say EJ's appliance. He'll have a water bottle sitting on his desk that says EJ's appliance repair.
Can't you guys envision EJ at a TED Talk, and he's pacing across the stage, and he adds this part in about how Magic Mike ran over his shrubbery, because he was tired because he gave him too many calls or something like that. All that stuff. So, looking
Yeah,
forward
but
to it.
his TED Talk will be all about not doing service calls on Saturdays.
Oh, yeah, and beard maintenance. Beard
Beard
maintenance. Yeah,
maintenance.
yeah.
Me and Doug won't be at that
No,
that
no.
TED Talk, obviously.
No. We'll be selling shavers out in the parking lot. Oh, poor TK stuck. But he never gets stuck in those awkward positions that most of us do.
Yeah, he figures it out
Doug,
pretty good.
Doug? Is there an issue with Google when hanging from a pin drop to an area? What does that mean? What does that mean, Doug?
I know what that means.
What does that mean, Mike?
So on the map, you can drop a pin where
Yes.
you're located,
Mhm.
and it works fairly effectively. So you can hide your address, but you can do a pin drop and say, this is where we're at. And it basically just tells Google, this is where you're located and this is your service area is where it's going to expand out from. So um, there's a lot of little tricks you can do. And there's debates on what's more effective than others. And since Google has made it so extremely hard to actually get these Google profiles, especially in the service related industry,
Right.
they don't trust the appliance industry at all because of those
Right.
damn lead gen companies that just went out and spammed the hell out of the maps
Right.
and wreaked havoc. So um, there's no way to really effectively test it like we used to be able to. We used to be able to create these GMBs and Google profiles very easily, and then we could test, what was effective and what's not in
Right.
different size cities, and it was great. And we knew exactly what what was effective to rank you number one in the map packs. And now it's just so hard because they're constantly making changes. They just
Ever
released
changing all the time.
they
Right.
literally just released a maps update a few days ago, and it was another proximity update and a few other updates. So it's I was looking at this and I literally just rolled my eyes and I saw all the replies on Twitter to the search team at Google, just like, here we go again, like your vague update, releases, because they don't tell you really what they update. So they don't want you to know.
You know, a few years ago, several years ago now, we bought a phone number of an existing business from the state of Rhode Island. Okay, a guy of someone from our peer group, and he was unable to grow this thing more than one or two techs. So we bought it, and we've had it almost 10 years now, and we've not been able to 8 years. We have not been able to get it to be more than a one tech place. So it's, you know, Google AdWords, Angie's List, and the slow season is really slow, and the busy season it's never booked out more than 2 or 3 days. And there's a lot of companies, but there's a lot of companies in every area, you know. So yeah, we just opened an office in Rhode Island. We're going to see if that map listing has any impact, but it's a baffle. Like, I know that Rhode Island is all mafia, and so maybe there's this close knit community, and you got to have an Italian last name, or, you know, or they know you're an outsider and they're talking in the alleyways. Don't call action, you know. And we do pretty good. I think it's a good business in Rhode Island, but it's really hard to get more work. So I'm excited to try this actual brick and mortar location, which is stupid that I'm dealing with an internet 2000 business called Google, that we have to go and find a brick and mortar building to appease them. And I know what you said, Mike. They're trying to combat the lead generation companies, right? So they're trying to do potentially good and make a lot of money is what they're trying to do, right? But it is a challenging time for us. And so I'm hoping by the end of this year, with our map listing popping up, we're going to actually see if we can grow the company. But throw money at it, it's not happening for us.
It takes time. It definitely takes time. You can't. I used to be able to rank in the map packs within days, like within a week.
Really?
And I could get right into the map pack. But with the recent algorithm changes, it's so slow. You know, it takes weeks or months before you can do it.
Yeah.
And it just depends on the competition in that area. You know, if it's very congested and it's a huge city, you know, 150, 200,000 people, that makes it that much harder, and it takes that much longer. So,
well, Rhode Island is none of that, you know, but
but it's still congested. It's still a congested area, even though it's the smallest state. It's still a congested area.
Yeah. It's a small city, but you're right. There's like 12 companies right in Providence, their capital, and so I hear you. It's fun to try to see, but I feel bad for my Rhode Island tech because there's really not. It's really hard to cover for him when he's not there. Vacation, sick time, things like that. So, but we'll figure it out.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
It's all right.
My CSR called me and my entire phone blew up in my hand. It was like Inspector Gadget.
Yep. I thought she was supposed to put everything in the messenger.
That's only bad stuff. Hopefully she had good stuff to tell me.
Well, that's good.
Off my Friday with bad news, I would be not very happy.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Did y'all already hit this one?
Yep.
We did that while you were gone.
Yeah. Okay.
$750 a month for an office.
That's a lot of money for an office.
For a small office, yeah.
Yeah. I guess it depends if you're in the city, right?
It depends on how big you're going. I mean, Zach was paying like $2,800 to $2,700 to $3,000 for his offices, but he had, I mean, it was basically a house with a huge pole barn in the back and stuff. So,
Mike,
it was way more than he ever needed.
So, Mike, these shared office spaces where
they don't work.
Google isn't always.
They do not work because Google knows that there's more than one business there, and then it will immediately suspend those types of places.
Gotcha.
So, it makes it really hard because number one, in order to get your listing approved, you have to provide them with some sort of
utility
proof that
bill.
like a utility bill.
Yeah.
but it's got to be in the business's name, not your
Right.
personal name.
Right.
That's the catch. And you have to have some kind of signage. You have to have your lease agreement in the business's name, not your personal name.
Right.
And that's basically the only way that you can get approved. And now they've taken it a step further to where they'll do video verification, to where you have to physically be on with them live and do an actual video verification of you outside the building with your service vehicle, walking into your office and showing them actual paperwork on a desk with a computer that looks legit. Like, they've just taken it to a whole new extreme. And I just can't imagine a tech company like Google needing to do so much manual things, so much manual approval.
Yeah.
And I think it's insane. And it just takes forever because you can only have so many people doing that day in and day out, every hour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, my Rhode Island office, the last hurdle is a utility, which I don't have, right? $100 a month in this sort of shared space, but not advertised that way. And I just can't. I'm trying to think of what kind of, like, could I sign up at Staples, or can I get a water? Can I get water? A water delivery, Poland Springs. Is that going to count, or do they want like an electric bill, phone bill?
They want a lease, an electric bill, some kind of legitimate utility thing.
Yeah.
So having a parts vendor deliver there,
that's not going to work.
I don't think that I've never tried it. It may work, but it's not in their list of approved things that they want when they ask for that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't know Friday was going to be Doug whines about his problems and Mike tries to fix them day, but sorry about that, guys. So.
No, it's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Saul says he's seen people running out of storage units. That definitely wouldn't work for getting on Google Maps for sure.
Yeah.
he just pulled
a desk in there and hung a little sign above it that said,
"That's right,
PK."
Hey, who's to say one big orange door is not a good front door to your business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Google, let me just show you here.
Yeah.
Man, I know countless flippers that got started and still do it that way. I mean, back in the day when I was flipping appliances and furniture and whatever else I'd sell, I did it out of my mom's 2-bay garage at the house that we live in now. So,
I want to invite some people like Emmett Gardens to maybe come on sometime and share your story with us.
Absolutely.
You are. We many of us like to come on and help elevate the industry, but wouldn't it be great to get to know some more people that we've not seen and heard before? People are getting tired of me. I've been getting messages about that, by the way.
We'd love for anyone in the community to reach out to us and say, hey, I'd love to come on and just chat with you guys. I mean, we're just a bunch of dudes hanging out and talking,
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, it's super important to us. We, as the morning grind continues, that more and more people get involved. Because I can tell you one thing that's going to happen is y'all are going to get tired of seeing old TK come on here every Wednesday and Friday. So this barrier is my opinion.
True story. This morning, my alarm goes off at 6, and I literally roll over. I looked at my wife, and I'm like, "You want to go on the grind for me today?" And I'm like, they'd probably like you a whole lot better. You look a lot better than I do, even on your worst day. And, I'm like, it would definitely shake some things up,
I would love to have some wives on. I actually spoke to my wife recently. I would love to have some wives come on that are just, either you can be involved in the business, not involved in business. I can guarantee you I can get my wife to come on. My wife could share a good devotion and scripture and stuff like that. She's way more strong in her faith and her Christianity than I am by a long shot. She's like a real deal Christian. Um, I'm kind of one of those. I don't even know how to describe my faith.
Could you imagine the stories that those ladies could tell?
Oh man, we should do a free we
We
should
should.
do Wives of the Alliance Freestyle Friday. If your wife is willing to come on with my, should we just give them free reign, or should we be in the background so we can hit mute?
I don't know. I've been working a long time to build a reputation to have it torn down by my wife. I don't know.
Oh, come
I'm
on.
pretty sure your wife would come on, Doug.
No. I chatted with either you or EJ saying, and I checked with my wife first. We'd love to come on, the two of us, because we've been married almost 20 years, and I've been doing this since 1988. And she was a stay-at-home mom, and there's a lot of wisdom in all our mistakes that we made. So we definitely want to come on. We just want to be organized about it, because that's what my wife is, very organized. So she doesn't just want to come in and just shoot it off like we do here, you know?
Yeah, well, I think it would be cool to get 3 couples to start with. Maybe me and my wife, you and your wife, and Mike and his wife, or EJ and his wife, or some conglomerate. I think more than 3 would be too much.
Yeah. And the 3 of us could protect ourselves if the wives decide to gang up on us. And they won't even plan it. It'll just be this gender thing that happens, you know, where they Yeah. Absolutely. I'm on board. That's even better than what I was thinking. So
EJ says we should definitely moderate that episode.
Tape delay.
Uh-huh. It'd probably be our highest viewed episode ever.
That's it. Well, I hope that everyone has an amazing weekend and gets charged up. We're in the middle of the summer grind. Not that, you know, at Action Appliance, my guys are working more hours or doing more calls, but the heat is on and people have been a little crankier. Expectations have been higher. And I'm noticing people starting to fray at the edges a little bit. And that's what happens in the busy season, right? The summer season. So we'll get through it. But I appreciate you guys very much.
Yeah. Well, I want to say this before we go. I am extremely thankful that I am in a trade where I get to go from a nice air-conditioned van to a nice air-conditioned house 99% of the time.
Yep.
There's guys out there in HVAC, electrical, plumbing, other fields that are going in attics, crawl spaces. We're extremely, I can't say we, I am extremely thankful that I am in a trade where I get to go from my nice air-conditioned van, and my partner tells me this all the time. It's an awesome trade to be in. There's an HVAC guy out there probably making twice the money that I'm making. Do you know what I'm not doing? Sweating in an attic.
Be glad you don't do concrete work. 100% humidity.
Yeah, or you could be on a roof laying shingles, or you could be. And no knock to any of those trades. Shout out to them, and God bless you for your hard work and keeping things going and building. But I'm extremely thankful for appliance repair. So as we leave this episode, go out with a heart of gratitude and be thankful. You know, the shit's gonna come. The problems are gonna come. The issues are gonna arise. But if you go into this day with a heart of gratitude and thankfulness, count your blessings and just go out there and be the best representative of your company that you can be to your customers.
Well said, TK. Well said, my friend.
And Doug, I will see you in 15 minutes, sir.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Are we zooming it, or are we just hopping on a call? What are we doing? I like seeing your face.
Yeah, I'll set the Zoom up, and everyone else, anyone's invited this week because
this is my wife.
On vacation.
She's coming on soon. You got to get in the camera, babe, so they can see you.
It's all over now.
Your schedule for next Wednesday.
All right, we're going to work on that.
All
I
right.
think this is a great idea getting the wives on, TK. So we can maybe talk a little bit about that in 15 minutes. All right, my friend?
Yeah, we're doing it. So if and anybody else, you want to come on, you want to be a part of this thing, if you get something out of it. And I'll say this, if you're sitting there right now thinking, I don't have anything to share, there's nothing, you do. You have something to share.
Yeah.
You have something that will help someone, and we will be happy to have you on, whether it's your first week in appliance repair or you're a 30-year veteran. Just holler at
Agreed.
your boy and we'll get you popping.
Agreed. Smart man you are. All right, thank you guys.
All right. We'll see you
Have a
guys
great
later.
weekend, guys. Peace.
Yep, thanks.